I've lived here in Marin County for 30 years, and it's home. And yet even after all that time, the seasons sometimes feel a little backwards. I grew up in the Midwest, where summers are lush and green, and the winters are cold and gray. Here it's the opposite. During the summer, we go months at a time without a single drop of rain. The hillsides are shades of gold and brown, and the only moisture comes from fog that forms over the cool ocean waters. As autumn fades, there's a noticeable shift in the weather pattern. Storms of increasing intensity begin to roll in from the Pacific Ocean. Ultimately, we see rain that lasts for days or weeks at a time. Sometimes it seems like it will never end, but eventually a break in the weather means an opportunity to explore a transformed landscape. The reservoirs are full and creeks and waterfalls spill down the gullies and hillsides. It's green everywhere. I haven't been here in a while, and the most obvious compositions seem like the most compelling. A wide-angle view that captures the cascade of moving water framed by the lush green surroundings. My favorite aspect of winter is the low fog that often forms during the night in the North Bay valleys. This is much different than the freight train of fog that sweeps over Mount Tam during the summer. It feels more nuanced and mysterious. Elements are slowly revealed or hidden as a veil of fog gently follows the contours of the landscape. Photographing a foggy landscape on a winter morning requires getting up at a ridiculous hour. I fuel up on black coffee and head out into inky darkness. I've double-checked detailed weather reports, but I never know for sure what the conditions will be until I see it with my own eyes. The talented photographer Michael Ryan was kind enough to share this location with me many years ago, and I keep returning a few times every winter in the hopes of capturing conditions just like this. Dense, low-lying fog in the valleys, with hilltops rising above. The color in the sky on this particular morning is an added bonus. Marin's rural landscape is idyllic, but it's certainly not the wilderness. More often than not, I'm shooting next to a fence line marking private property, only to imagine what the view must be like from a distant hill. I'm more likely to share the morning with a domesticated friend than wildlife. I try to avoid the overly manufactured landscapes, but on a foggy morning, this roadside pond is too inviting to pass up. I spend some time searching for a composition that somehow combines both the trees right in front of me as well as those on the far side of the pond. I move left and right by a few yards and then a couple feet at a time, narrowing it down to the point that I'm adjusting the camera by just millimeters before arriving at this vertical image. I've driven by this roadside tree many times before, but on this morning the mix of fog and side light is finally good enough to make me stop. Dense fog delays the harsh light of day, and I'm treated with diffused light long after the sun has risen above the horizon. The isolated silhouettes of lakeside brush catch my eye and provide an interesting subject that's as close to black and white as I get. Black Mountain rises above West Marin with rounded contours providing a unique shape that changes drastically depending on your point of view. Over the past few seasons, I've become somewhat obsessed with a particular view that can only be had by hiking to the top of a taller nearby peak. It's an hour-long hike that always feels more difficult when carrying a full photo kit. It's not until the very top that I'm rewarded with the view I'm after. From here, Black Mountain is a diamond-shaped peak that emerges from the twisting folds of an emerald landscape. What fun would landscape photography be without changing conditions? And the top of this peak on a winter day is the perfect place to experience variable weather. 1 minute the sun is out, and then a line of rain sweeps through. On this day, the light never quite kicks off, but with some patience over a number of return trips, I've managed to come home with some images I like. photographers, I feel like we're often chasing that perfect wave, the ideal mix of conditions. A serene landscape with fog that is at just the right elevation, wonderful light, and why not throw in a colorful sky just for good measure? I realized long ago that there's joy to be found in making the most of the conditions I have, but that won't stop me from chasing. I suspect it won't be too long before I return to these locations. Springtime is just around the corner, and this vibrant green landscape won't last forever.